After a heart attack, John Smith was prescribed warfarin to stop harmful blood clots forming. But he wasn't confident with the knowledge he had about managing his medication and didn't realize the importance of going for regular blood tests. These difficulties contributed to what was to become a life-threatening experience.
It was a Wednesday, and in the morning I had gone for my INR test. I had missed one prior to that, but 4 days prior to that. I had a call from the nurse from the GP practice that I was involved with, who gave me the results, and that result was 11. My INR result was 11. The normal INR, the ideal INR, is about 3. So she did comment that this was a very high result, and she said, "Don't take any more warfarin until I discuss it with the GP." I had a call, however, from a friend who's a pharmacist and who knew that I was having a test done that day. When I told her the result, she was horrified and said, "You have to go to A&E." And I said, no, one, I don't have time, but secondly, that has not been mentioned by the GP, so no, I'm not going to do that. By this time, I was constantly coughing. There was comments that I was bleeding in the lungs, so they hurried me down to ICU.
John's wife Kathy was in England and had no idea he was so ill. By now, John's oxygen level and blood pressure were dangerously low, and he had a life-threatening pulmonary hemorrhage. The decision was made to call Kathy.
My phone rang, and I immediately saw it was my sister, and I knew it was 2 o'clock or so in the morning. I said, "Hello, Jane. What's wrong? Is it John or is it Dad?" And she said, "It's John." And then went through what was actually happening, that it was critical, that he may not live, and that I needed to get home as quickly as possible. I got to talk to the hospital, I got to talk to the surgeon. He wasn't allowed to talk to me because he was fighting for his life. They wouldn't let him expend that energy, but he was allowed to hear my voice. And of course, you know, I said all those lovely things that you would say.
John stayed in intensive care for several days. He and Kathy were told that if he had not gone to hospital when he did, he would have died. John has since changed GPs and is confident managing his current warfarin program. This includes having a regular point-of-care INR test at the pharmacy instead of at the laboratory.
Having got an appropriate program in place, then it's important that you really stick to it. It is not a drug to be treated casually, as I experienced myself. So educate yourself as much as possible. Be comfortable in discussions with your GP about the program, and ensure that you really stick to that program religiously.